Hello, Cindy.
Hi, sweetheart.
Well, we're here on our weekday,
Yes.
and we're making a video because we decided we needed a mental health day of rest.
Right.
And fortunately, we're able to take it.
Right.
But we're awfully lucky to be out here. And
We're very lucky,
we're
and I think that I was really sad to hear about Anthony Bourdain and also Kate Spade yesterday, and I want to say, number one, the things that people put on Facebook. I mean, for us, we put happy things on there. We put celebratory things on there. But our whole life is not like that.
No, it's certainly not.
And the thing that I think people should remember is, both of these celebrities, these are not even really celebrities. I mean, they're career people, but they're millionaires or even billionaires. With young children, and I see people on Facebook saying things like, oh, well, they have everything. Why would they do that? Oh, if you love your children, you would never do that. It's something that's so selfish. Well,
But that's not really true.
well,
Because you never know the battles that other people are fighting.
Right. Well, you can't tell a book by its cover. That's an old one. But it's true, and you don't know what battles people are fighting, and you can't say what it is that would drive somebody to that pit of despair where they felt like everybody in the world would be better off without them.
No, you don't know.
Because I've been there.
No, and I have too.
And I know that you've been there too.
No.
And I read something this morning that was saying it was like, walking against a harsh current in the river, and people on the banks saying, well, just get out of the water.
No, you can't just. No, you can't just say just be
get out
happy.
Of the water.
Just
you
be
can't
happy.
just be happy. You can't
It's not a choice.
count your blessings. You can't. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. It's not a choice at all. I did read something else where.
Sorry.
where that scares me when you do that. Where somebody else had made a comment about, that we need to do more research into some of these antidepressant medicines, because, when you listen to the commercials on TV, for example, and they talk about possible side effects are increased depression, suicidal thoughts. Oftentimes a lot of these psychotropic drugs, they're not really exactly sure how some of these things work. I mean, they're just starting to figure out how Ritalin works, because, Ritalin pumps normal people up and calms people with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, and that's a very non-medical description of it. So I apologize if anybody wants to say, oh, well, it's this or that. But my point is that many of the medicines, even though they're approved by our FDA, which takes years and years to happen, a lot of times they're not really sure how it works. And this is a silly example, but this is a good example. This is a good example of it. Well, I have two good examples of it. One is Viagra, because that was originally a heart medicine, correct? Or medicine for circulation, which just happens to increase the circulation everywhere, and so.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, honey.
People benefit from that.
I honestly wouldn't know anything about that.
The Latisse, the eyelash stuff that people use, the Bimatoprost, that was originally for people that were having, different kinds of eye troubles. And that was a drop that they used. And oh, by the way, one of the side effects was that your eyelashes grow. So sometimes accidentally they find out that different things work, and sometimes they don't really know exactly how it works. They just know that it does. So I think there needs to be more research into some of these psychotropic drugs, especially those that are for depression, because I know a lot of people have trouble finding a medication or finding one that will take at least some of the symptoms away.
Well, I know one thing. I think I know how to get you undepressed.
Uh,
I think I know how to raise your spirits.
oh,
Or
honey, don't.
I think I can help. But I'm not trying to make light of what you're saying.
I feel like you are.
No, you're not. I'm not.
Okay. Well,
I'm
I'm
really
not.
not.
I'm not depressed. I mean,
No,
I'm
you're
not
not.
now. I'm not even. I mean, I'm saddened by this, but I'm not depressed. Depressed is. I know what depressed is.
No.
Depressed is when you're standing on the edge of that deep dark hole and you're thinking, it would just take one little step. All I have to do is just put my foot over the edge and I can just fall down there and just be covered up in the darkness and never have to think about any of this again. I know what that is. I've been there on the edge of that hole. I've been there on the edge of that hole many times.
Well, I hope we don't ever have to go back to that spot.
No. And I think we can help each other to stay away from there.
I agree.
But I don't think it's not by saying, "Hey, stay away from the edge of the hole."
Yeah, right. It's not just stay happy.
It's by
just
telling
be happy.
somebody, I think you need to go and talk to your doctor. I've noticed that you're having trouble getting out of bed in the morning. I noticed that you're having trouble enjoying yourself while you're with your kids or your spouse or whatever. Maybe you need to go talk to somebody.
You're right.
That's the thing. That's the thing about that. But
I think that's the positive message, sweetheart.
well,
And
us. We always try to be positive in one fashion or another. But sometimes it's really hard.
well, it is really hard sometimes, and it's a choice that we all have to make for ourselves.
I'm glad your dog feels better.
So I gotta ask just one favor.
What?
Can I just see that flex, honey?
Oh my gosh.
just one. Just one, and we'll say goodbye. But 1, 2, 3. Let me see it. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't feel depressed anymore. Bye-bye, folks.